Thank you for joining, everyone. We will get started in just 2 to 3 minutes. We're waiting for folks to trickle in. In the meantime, feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat and where you're joining in from. Would love to see who's here and who's joining from where in the world. Amazing. We have folks from all over. All right. So it looks like we have over 100 people now. It is going to be a packed session today. So we're really glad all of you could make it. Joseph, you won't need your Fireflies here. We will send you the recording. I know we're all used to having Fireflies in our meetings. But as I said, thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for being here. We have a packed session and we're going to be showing everything live today. So stay with us throughout the session. Thank you again for taking out the time and joining us. Before we dive in, want to do quick intros of who our speakers are today. So I am Nishant. I look after go-to-market and partnerships here at Fireflies. I've been with Fireflies for about 4.5 years. Obviously been an exciting journey in the space as well as in the company. With me here today, I have Chan from the Fireflies team as well. He's our senior product manager, and he's going to be showing everything live to us today, all the exciting stuff. And then finally, we also have a very special guest, Toby, founder of Magnate Ventures, LinkedIn creator, and someone who's actually been using a lot of what we're showing tonight. Toby, if you want to drop a quick introduction to introduce yourself to everyone.
Hey everyone, my name is Toby. I am usually based in Toronto, Canada, and I am really excited to be here. I run a company called Magnate Ventures, which is a holding company. I've run multiple companies, built my LinkedIn over the years to almost 400,000 followers. And I've been married for 7 years, and I've been on Fireflies for 7 years, just to show you how serious this relationship is. So I'm excited for you all to be here, and I'm sure you're going to get a ton of value out of this.
Yep. Hopefully it's a very successful marriage. But all right, so here's what we're covering today. We're going to do a quick introduction to Fireflies for those of you who may not know Fireflies or may not be up to date with everything we have to offer. Secondly, we're going to go into voice agents. Then we're going to go into AI skills and workflows, our new products, which are the Slack assistant, the email assistant, and then finally we're going to have a Q&A session. Throughout this webinar, would love for all of you to use the chat for questions, and we'll get to as many as we can at the end in the Q&A, or our team will try and address them in the chat for you as well while you're asking questions. So perfect. Let's get started with our session today. For those of you who are new to Fireflies or may not be up to date, quick context on Fireflies and where we stand today. So Fireflies obviously started as a note-taker platform about 7 years ago. Today, we are the #1 AI employee for your meetings. So far, we've served over 20 million people. We've processed over 5 billion minutes of meetings, and we are trusted by over 75% of the Fortune 500 companies in the world. We support over 100 languages. We have over 100 integrations. And then, of course, we are an enterprise-grade platform, which offers top-grade enterprise security as well as privacy. So that's a little bit about Fireflies. We're not a new tool. We're a platform that's been growing over the past few years. And now we have a lot more to offer than people realize or people have seen on our platform. So we're going to get right into all of that and show you all the cool stuff. Okay, so let's start with something all of us, suffer with, which is, hey, if you're running a lean team, and most of you here who are attending are running a lean team, a fast-growing team, or a company, your day or your time doesn't just disappear in one place. It disappears into 3 different places, which is calls, meetings, emails, and Slack. So calls and meetings, emails, and Slack. That's where most of our work gets done, but sadly, that's also where most of our time gets lost. So I'm going to pause here and I'm going to ask Toby, who obviously is building, he's creating content, talking to customers, managing a team. So Toby, what does that look like day to day for you? Like, where are you spending the most time? What's the honest picture of the reality of running a lean team?
So our team is only about 5 people, but we're doing like multiple 7 figures a year. And so we have to be as efficient as possible. Fireflies is basically our 6th employee at this point. I spend probably 80% of my time in Slack, and then 15% of my time in emails, and then 5% of my time in calls. And so when we're doing like a big launch, that number probably switches. I'll spend more time on calls, right? More time in Slack, less time in emails. But yeah, this is basically where all of my time goes. And for years, it took longer and longer to get through certain things because, as the company grew, I just needed more time.
Awesome. And of course, in the meetings, Fireflies has been there to help you. But with
Always.
emails and Slack, that's the problem we're trying to solve, is that apart from meetings, we're all spending so much time in emails, in our Slack. There are decisions that are buried in threads. You're spending time every day catching up, finding threads, replying to threads. On email, there's a ton of emails, follow-ups that keep slipping, or replies keep slipping. You wake up to at least 20, 30 emails in your inbox again after you've cleared it all. So that's obviously the problem that we are trying to solve. And today we're going to show you how we're going to help automate all of these 3, which is calls, meetings, emails, and Slack. So let's start with calls and meetings. We're going to go into repetitive calls and meetings and talk about voice agents. So the problem statement obviously here is every company today that has a lean team has a ton of different calls. Imagine the number of calls that are running across a company. There are discovery calls, sales calls, there are customer support calls and meetings, there are user feedback calls, user research calls. You're interviewing people, so you're doing candidate screening calls and meetings. And there always has to be a human running every single one of them, right? Someone has to take that call, someone has to take notes, they have to write the follow-up after the meeting, they have to go and fill out their CRM after the meeting. And then obviously the quality of every call depends entirely on whoever is showing up for that call, or whatever the bandwidth of that person is in a lean team, right? So today, everyone has to run a call. Context gets lost. follow-ups after the call are inconsistent. You don't know if the CRM has been filled or if the follow-up email has been sent, and you're losing hours and hours on these redundant conversations. Now, basically, Fireflies has always been a note taker. It's always been a participant in your meetings, but now we're going and saying, hey, instead of just being a participant in your meetings, can Fireflies also take your calls for you? And obviously, this is not all calls, this is not all meetings, but this is meetings that are either redundant or have a predictable flow. So first of all, in terms of, again, I'll ask Toby, as a founder and someone who works with founders, which types of calls are you seeing like your team is spending a lot of time on?
So, I mean, we have a lot of like sales calls, right, that we'll do where, you know, a human needs to be there, right, whether it's a discovery call or, you know, a screening call, right, for our accelerator. But we also have like team calls, right, like tons of team calls where we're trying to figure out different problems. And yes, Fireflies is always in the calls, but there's some calls that, you know, are so repetitive. Like, then we talk about this, right, especially on the sales side, it's like the same thing. It's the same motion every single time for probably the last 3.5 years, right? And so
Right.
the repetitiveness makes it predictable, but it also makes it a little bit exhausting.
Right. And as you said, like screening calls for your accelerator, right? That's not something that you want to, you know, you're going on, let's say 20 calls, and only out of those 20, how many are you accepting, right? So you want to focus on the high value ones as opposed to all the screenings that you're doing and saying, hey, this is actually not the right fit.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. All right, let's move to what is the solution? Voice agents. Fireflies now has voice agents. You should all be able to access them on the Fireflies platform. These are AI-powered calls on behalf of your team. These are AI-powered agents that conduct calls on behalf of your team. You set them up once, and you basically set them up with the questions that you want to ask, the knowledge that you want these agents to have, how you want these agents to behave on the call. Are there any nuances you want them to do, or how they greet the people that they're talking to? Everything from that to the tone and the voice of the agent is customizable. And then once that's set up, they take calls for you. Everything is then automated. We have 6 templates for you to get started. As you can see on the screen here, there is a screening interview agent, there is a discovery call agent, there is a project check-in agent, a user testimonial agent, performance review agent, and a user research agent. This covers a lot of different use cases where there are already repetitive calls. And beyond this, you can also set up your own custom agents. With these agent templates, it takes you less than 5 minutes to go ahead and set up an agent and take it live. Now, obviously, over here, you're automating the call, but we also talked about what happens after the call. There's a follow-up email, there are notes that need to be sent, there are CRMs that need to be filled, or ATS platforms that need to be filled with the right information. So again, Toby, your input. After a call ends, what do you usually do? Or like, what does your team usually do? Like, where does everything go?
So, I mean, now it goes into our CRM, right? It goes into HubSpot. You got to put the notes in there, right? Did they show up? Right? What was the key takeaways? And so I think those are some of the things that take up the time. I think because of the way that we kind of capture all the details, you have to make sure that you don't miss anything, right? And so it's very important to like get the right notes in there, right? So that we can pick the right people. But again, it can be repetitive, right? So having something that is AI powered definitely helps us save a lot of that back and forth time and what happens after the call.
Right. And a lot of work happens after the call. So, and that's most teams. Like, that's exactly the gap that we're trying to fill with AI skills. All right. There's probably after a sales call, you have to fill out the CRM with the right information, not just the notes, but let's say the budget. And you want to fill out, okay, was this someone of authority that we were talking to? For a candidate interview, you want to fill out, hey, maybe you want to generate a candidate scorecard. So that's what AI skills do. These are automations that run after your meetings. And these are, again, we have over 200 AI skills that are available on Fireflies today, which can be set up with one click. And then you can also create your custom AI skills, whether you want to monitor competitor mentions, whether you want to draft a follow-up email after every meeting, whether you want for sales, a Bant app to run and give you the Bant output, or whether you want a candidate scorecard. You can set up an AI skill for any meeting that you have, including voice agent meetings, and you set it up and it runs automatically every time. And then finally, where does this information need to go? It can go to your CRM, it can go to your Slack, it can go to your email. Fireflies has over 100 integrations where this information can then be sent into. So imagine your CRM being filled out automatically after every call, or your ATS being filled out automatically after every call, or the exact message that you want in Slack from the meeting being sent to your Slack after every call. Now, obviously, Chan will show us all of this on the live demo. So we're all waiting for that. But before we move to the demo, again, want to highlight how easy it is to take a voice agent live. There are only 3 steps. 1, you build your agent, you enter the questions, the knowledge base, and the instructions, and that's it. You can customize it with voice, language, et cetera, et cetera. 2, the agent conducts the call. So once you've built your agent, everything is automated. You can send that link to anyone who you want the agent to talk to, and the participant can click the link. They don't need to schedule a meeting. So all that time that you spend scheduling calls with people doesn't need to happen. The participant doesn't need to be in a particular time zone, or they can take the call at their own convenience as well, whenever, with the agent. And then when the agent conducts the call, obviously it follows the same knowledge and the flow that you mentioned. And finally, you get structured insights. You get the transcript, the summary, and the AI skills that you've set up, all of that automatically. Now, I'm going to hand it over to Chan for him to show us a live demo of this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nishant, for the intro. Let me just quickly share my screen. There we go. Yes. Hey, folks. First of all, welcome, everybody. So for those of you who know Fireflies, who have been silent participant in your meetings, we've been investing a lot in features where it assists you in the meetings for the past couple of months, and now it takes a full circle where it can take calls on your behalf. Nevertheless, it's the same AI teammate that all of you love. So starting with voice agents, it's going to start it's going to start taking your repetitive calls for you. So one thing that we did during the voice agents research when we wanted to build voice agent is understand all the use cases which could be repetitive. We really want to take the grunt work off your plate. And that's when we came up with all these use cases that you see at the moment on your screen, right? Screening interview, discovery calls, progress check-ins, user testimonials, performance reviews, and research. All of these are repetitive calls that can take a lot of time and money off your plate. So that's something that you can automate with Fireflies. And with voice agents, the setup is super simple. You can create a voice agent in less than 2 minutes. So unlike other voice agent vendors where the deployment is super complex, super technical, you need a developer, we've made it so seamless so that it's super easy for anybody non-technical to go create a voice agent. So without further ado, let's get into the demo. So here under Fireflies, just navigate to voice agents. You can see the voice agents page. So we have 7 templates that you can choose from to create voice agents. So these are templates that are already predefined and hard-coded to behave in the best way for the specific use case. So let's take a screening interview. It's already hard-coded to ensure that it's going to deliver the best experience as a screening interviewer. With that being said, I'm going to show you how easy it is to create a voice agent. Let's start with the discovery call agent. And even if your use case does not fit into these 7 different templates, you can always create a custom agent completely from scratch for any sort of a workflow that you might have, and it satisfy that specific use case. So I'm just going to create a discovery agent. So here, there are 3 aspects that decide the behavior or the workflow of the agent: the questions, knowledge base, and instructions. So the questions, what questions it's supposed to ask the specific user. Knowledge base. So let's say the user in return asks a question. What data does the agent refer to answer that question efficiently is what the knowledge base is all about. So knowledge base, we have free text. So let's say you're building a basic agent, you can just add a free text here, and pretty much that's what it's going to refer to every time someone asks it a question. But also we have support for our common knowledge base. You can find it under settings, and here you can create a bundle. So when I say bundle, you can add files that are from different formats such as PDF docs, Excel, CSV, whatsoever it may be. And the best part is you can add websites. Let's say you have a knowledge-based website from your company. Just add the website and just click include subpage, and it'll just scroll through all the subpages available and add that as context to the agent. So the third thing is instructions. So Fireflies voice agents are already pre-coded to behave in the best way possible. It has the best prompting done under the hood. But even then, there are customizations that our customers prefer. And if you need it to behave in a certain way or read in a certain way, you can always enter these details and just click, just type out the details and you're pretty much sorted. So 3 things, just have it filled out and you're pretty much done creating your voice agent. So this is the core aspect. But now coming to the customization options, what truly matters is making your voice agent truly yours. So we can totally upload your own logo. You can change the name of your voice agent. So you can change the company name of your voice agent. This description is basically for you to identify what this voice agent does. So we have tons of language options, voice options. We've added multiple options, and we are shortly including capability to voice cloning real soon. We'll be shipping that in a couple of weeks. So we also have the tone that you can choose between casual, talkative, and professional. The session duration, you can decide how long does the duration of the call needs to last. So basically, it's not going to be a hard cutoff at the session duration end time. So the voice agent can gradually conduct the conversation and naturally end the conversation at the right time, at the right place, so that the user would always ensure that the conversation is natural. So you can also decide the conversational speed, preview the couple of voices that you like, enter the knowledge base instructions, and also we have settings. A couple of settings that you might be interested in. So let's say you want this voice agent to be visible across your Fireflies workspace. You can just enable the visibility so that your teammates can also take a look at it and also make edits and changes to it. Change the meeting privacy of those voice agents. So any meetings that the voice agent takes is going to follow this privacy. You can decide who gets the recap email. And here comes the most important part, which is participant info required before talking to the agent. So earlier we had a flow where when users had to talk to the agent, that just need to verify their email using an OTP, but we've taken off that friction. So users can now choose to make this email totally optional. So users can just simply enter their name and talk to the agent right away after that. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to create an agent. So I'm just going to create a sample agent here. So knowledge and instructions are totally optional. So I'm just going to click create here, and soon after, I get multiple options. So here, the link is basically what you would share with your users to take conversations with the agent. So this is what you would share through email or Slack or even as a social media post. So, but we've also included multiple options to deploy your voice agents as per popular demand. You can copy the embed code and have it embedded on your website. You can download a QR code where users just need to scan the QR code to talk to the agent. A unique QR code gets generated. You can add it to your calendar as well. So we support both, Google and Outlook calendar. So immediately an event gets created and the agent link is added to that specific calendar. You can also share it to social such as Teams, WhatsApp, X, and LinkedIn. So just copy the link in this case, and you're pretty much done. And you can always visit your created voice agent under the My Voice Agent section. So I'm going to take a quick demo to show you how this conversation looks like. So I already have a demo voice agent here. So let me walk you through how the experience look like at the moment. Sorry, that was the demo. Yeah. There we go. So let me just quickly reshare my screen so that you get the audio as well. One second. There we go. Okay. So in this case, I've enabled both name and email. So I can just show you the entire flow. So once you enter the name and email, Fireflies will send an OTP for that users are authenticated to talk to the agent. So I've got the OTP here. So right after I enter the OTP, I can just have a conversation with the agent. And that's pretty much it. So even that setting is optional now. So if the email option is disabled, users can simply just enter the name and talk to the agent right away. So here users can, it's a very familiar setup that we've given. There's no complex UI involved. So you can just select the microphone before you talk to the agent and just click join meeting.
Hi, Chan. Thanks for joining. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I really appreciate you taking the time to try out this demo voice agent from Fireflies. I'm here to help you on how voice agents work, explore different use cases, or even walk you through creating your own. What would you like to know about voice agents?
Yes. Quickly, I'd like to know if voice agents could automate my screening interviews for me, if that's fine.
Absolutely, yes. Voice agents are perfect for screening interviews, and Fireflies already has a pre-built template specific for that. You can actually select or type a role and click autofill, and Fireflies will automatically create a ready-to-use screening agent for you. Entire conversation, generate transcripts, summaries, and structured insights automatically. What kind of role are you typically screening for?
But before that, I'd like to know what the pricing for voice agents look like. So that's a common question that we've had. So can you just briefly explain how the pricing for voice agents work?
Of course, happy to explain. Voice agents use AI credits, then it's really straightforward. One AI credit equals 1 minute of live conversation. So a screen interview lasts 15 minutes that uses 15 AI credits. You only pay for the time someone is actively talking to the agent. To help you estimate what you'd need, how many screening calls do you think you'd run in a typical month, and roughly how long would each one last?
Let's say I take about 20 to 25 screening calls per month, and they're about 15 minutes in average.
Perfect. So let's do the math together. If you're running about 20 to 25 calls at 15 minutes each, that's roughly 300 to 375 minutes total. That means you'd be using around 300 to 375 AI credits per month. It's very predictable because you're essentially paying per minute of conversation, and this replaces hours of recruiter time while running interviews automatically and consistently at scale. Does that pricing structure make sense for what you're planning?
Yes, but anyways, that was nice of you to explain, but I gotta go. But it was great talking to you. Thank you so much for your time today.
You're very welcome, Chen. I'm really glad I could help explain how voice agents work for screening interviews. Feel free to jump in and try creating one anytime. It's super quick to get started. Thanks so much for your time today, and best of luck with your hiring. Take care.
Thanks. Bye. So, as you saw, the conversation was supernatural, and we're constantly thriving to make the conversation even better. We're adding more voices, we're adding more, latency improvements on a regular basis. But right now, it feels near human for users. So, all that users need to do is just take a call with the agent from the link that you as an agent creator provide. And right after the call is done, you get the meeting in Fireflies just like any other Fireflies meeting that you might have. Let me show you how that looks as well. Let me share my screen. Yeah. So here is a sample call. This UI is something that's very familiar for all of you. It's just the exact same Fireflies UI. So you can use, Ask Fred to ask specific insights from your meeting. You can get the entire transcript, a summary of the meeting, and then you can use tons of AI apps that we provide out of the box to extract specific information. And icing on top of the cake is you can use our integrations, 100 plus integrations, to have Fireflies do the job for you. So let's say you create a screening interview, you can have an ATS integration set up. So we support all the popular ATSs, Workable, AshP, Greenhouse, Bamboo HR, whatsoever it may be. And Fireflies can automatically create candidates in your ATS as and when the voice agent takes the calls. Same thing for discovery use cases. Let's say you connect your Salesforce or HubSpot. Fireflies can automatically create leads, map the notes to them. The AI apps can fill whatever information that you want to extract, for example, BANT, Medic, or whatsoever it may be. Fireflies can do that for you. So voice agents, just create your agent in less than 2 minutes, have it sent across to your users, and watch it take all your repetitive calls for you in real time. Over to you, Nishant.
Awesome. Thank you, Chan. Super exciting to see where we're heading. Quick fun fact is that Fireflies today uses voice agents for automating 100% of our candidate screening interviews. We also automate some of our discovery calls for our leads that come to our sales team. And we're also working on automating other aspects of our own calls and systems as well. And of course, we have a ton of customers who are already using this across screening, support, sales, and other use cases as well. Awesome. Would love for you all to check it out. When you create your first agent on Fireflies, you get 100 free AI credits in order for you to test out the whole process and make sure that you're able to get what you need from voice agents as well. All right. Now we move from voice agents, or we move from meetings to where else we spend our time, which is Slack. Now, all of us, Slack is a blessing and a curse. We all know that. We have endless threads that we're always catching up on. There are things that get lost everywhere. We lose context, but at the same time, it is super important to have all of that communication. So what is the solution here? First of all, we want to stop losing context in Slack. Today, everyone who uses Slack sees busy threads, noisy channels, messages that pile up really fast. So it's hard to tell what matters, what is just noise, and what actually needs your attention on Slack. It takes a really long time to catch up on threads, especially if you wake up and people have been active and you're reading a 200 message thread and trying to understand what happened every day before you actually get to addressing what the real work is, right? And then finally, a lot of these communication channels are siloed. So let's say Slack, meetings, email, all of these live in different places. So how do you bring them together? Because let's say you have a project or a client, you're talking on Slack with your team about them, you're emailing that client on email, you're having meetings with them on, let's say, Google Meet. So how do you bring all of that together and have all the context in one place, right? So where can we bring that together and make sure that no action items are getting lost, decisions are still getting made, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where our Fireflies Slack Assistant comes in. First of all, Toby, you said you spend a lot of your time on Slack, and you've been using the Slack Assistant, right? So first of all, like, what are your thoughts on this? Where do you spend most of your time on Slack?
Most of my time in Slack is spent on looking for things in Slack, which is the annoying part. And so I'm having to find threads. I'm using the search functionality. I'm trying to find things I sent, or people saying but Toby, you told us that we were doing this, and then I got to go see if they're right. So I think part of the problem is that there's so much knowledge in a 3, 4, or 5 year Slack that it's hard to find everything really, really quickly. And that's where we've been using the Fireflies agent. It's been pretty awesome because I can go into any channel, and if I ask it to summarize, I can pull whatever information I want out of that channel. That's been probably the biggest thing, is now I'm not doing all the searching, it's almost searching for me, which allows me to move faster, make decisions faster. So I've loved using it every single day.
Awesome. Yeah, so that's what it's for. I mean, that's exactly what it's built for, which is all of us are getting lost in Slack channels and Slack threads, and we're trying to find the context that matters. And it's what if we could just have an AI agent that could find everything for us when we need it, instead of us having to spend 15 minutes looking for that one Slack message hidden in one Slack thread. So let's talk a little bit more about the Slack Assistant. The Firefly Slack Assistant is now live. It can summarize threads. It can summarize channels. It can look for messages in Slack. It can recall context from all of your meetings, and it can do a lot more, like drafting emails, drafting content. It can also do web research for you. You don't have to go and do that research yourself. And how it works is very simply, you just tag Fireflies and ask a question. So as you can see on the screen, Fireflies can give you an overview of a channel. Fireflies can summarize a thread. Fireflies can pull up what decision we made in a Slack thread that was, a week ago. So all of that can be done within Slack itself using Fireflies. And we're going to show you a live demo of all the cool things that it can do and save you so much time of the time you spend on either catching up or searching for things in Slack. Go ahead, Chan. Over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Nishant. Sharing my screen. Okay. So let me know when I'm okay. So most of you know the Fireflies Slack integration could be one-way integration where you get your notes like this, as you see on the screen, from Fireflies to Slack. But like I said, right now it's more of an assistant. So we've completely leveled up the Slack integration and the Slack assistant whatsoever. So Fireflies is now completely in Slack, which is something that we can confidently say. It's not just here to get your notes to Slack, but at the same time, what it does is you can also ask questions about your meetings. You can ask questions about your, anything for that matter. For example, let me just show you. So Fireflies, if I had to ask, what are the latest trends in AI right now? You'll be able to get that information from web and pull it for me right away. So Fireflies is more of an assistant in Slack, where you can see that it also gives you a loading screen where it tells you what it's doing under the hood. So it's trying to pull up the information from the internet and getting that information from you right away. So here it is. So Fireflies A can get information from the web about anything that you might need with respect to research or any information for that aspect. And the other aspect is Fireflies can also get information about your meetings. So not just sending in notes, you can use Ask Fred directly in Fireflies, where you can just tag Fireflies and say, hey, what happened in my last town hall meeting? What happened in my last strategy meeting? And Fireflies will be able to get that information for you and give you that information in Slack. So first things first, we take privacy and security as our top concerns. And only if you have access to that specific meeting, Fireflies will be able to pull that result for you. Or if somebody else is asking access to a meeting through Slack, Fireflies will not respond and just say that they do not have access to that meeting. I'm also going to show you other two capabilities of the Fireflies Slack assistant. So all of us are, every Monday morning, we get jammed with Slack notification and threads. And let's say you have a very important channel. All that you can do is just say Fireflies, summarize the last, 10 days of messages in this channel and give me a TLDR. So Fireflies has the capability to run through this channel where it's added to be able to fetch about 90 days of history and return that information for you in a neat, crisp report. And as you can see, it gives you a detailed report of what went happen in this demo channel. And at the same time, let's say, I want to get information about a thread. Let's say we've all had these Slack threads where you start a thread and you get like, 100 plus responses, and it's very tiresome for all of us to go through those threads individually one by one. Just tag Fireflies and ask Fireflies to summarize that thread for you. And Fireflies will summarize this thread whatsoever it may be with all the information that you need without missing any key points. That also includes aspect of drafting emails for you. Let's say there is a customer escalation going on in one of these Slack threads. All that you need to do is tag Fireflies and say, okay, based on whatever the resolution is, can you just draft an email? Fireflies would gladly do that for you right in Slack, and you can just have it copy pasted in your email and have it sent across. So let me just quickly take you through that as well. Draft an email from the last message. Fireflies does that in a matter of seconds, and it can just provide the information right for you so that it's ready for use. So Fireflies, once again, to summarize, Fireflies along the years has been integration with Slack, where it just sends the notes to you automatically or manually if you push it from the notepad. But at the same time, Fireflies now is turned more into an AI assistant where you can just ask Fireflies to summarize threads for you, summarize the entire channel up to 90 days. You can also ask questions about your meetings. You can have a natural conversation with Fireflies and it understands the entire context starting from the thread or the channel. And also, you can ask any information about the thread or internet as well. And Fireflies will be able to fetch that information for you. So that's the Firefly Slack assistant in a nutshell. So we're adding more capabilities down the line, such as support for scheduled messages, trigger-based messages, but more coming soon. But right now, it's more than ready to help you go through your day through Slack.
Awesome. Thank you, Chan. John asked a very interesting question. Can I ask the assistant to pull up a particular call or meeting? Because currently he's going into Fireflies and having to find the call and then search for the data or the answer.
Absolutely, yes. So that's one of the first use cases that we built with the Firefly Slack assistant. When it sends your notes, it's also naturally bound to answer questions, any questions about your meeting. So all of you are familiar with Ask Fred on Fireflies, right? So imagine this Slack assistant where it's a carbon copy of Ask Fred in Slack. So you're asking questions to Ask Fred in Fireflies, the same thing as you're doing in Slack, where it gets information about your meeting and it gets the information in such a way that it's readily usable for you. Yes, to answer your question in a nutshell, yes. We pull up any questions about your meeting, not just your latest meetings, but any meeting for that matter.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Chen. Moving to the last section in our session. So we've covered calls and meetings, we've covered Slack, and now the final culprit is email. We all wake up to inboxes which have a lot of unread emails. So before we actually move forward, I want people to actually look at their inbox and post the number in the chat of how many unread emails they have. I'll post my own. Looks like people follow zero inbox. Awesome. So it ranges from 0 to, let's say, 923. Oh, 1,183. That's the winner. 1,290. All right. So the last thing we want to touch on, and this is a sneak peek because this is something that's coming out very, very soon, is our Fireflies email assistant. Before we start, again, Toby, would love to get your thoughts. You spend a lot of time on emails. How do you manage your email, and what do you think, like, what are the pains and what are the pain points that you face?
Well, honestly, the worst part is, people can find my email now, so I get all sorts of emails. I wake up to 100 plus in my inbox every single day. And so I think part of it is there are emails that I know that I have quick responses to, but they're not saved anywhere. So I have to type it out each time. And then the other thing is there are emails I don't want to respond to. I want something else for someone else to respond to because, it's not worth my time to sit down, the answer is somewhere. And so what has been really frustrating, I think, is I'm spending 1-2 hours on my emails, and I've had to put up on my phone at least, what do you call it, the screen limiter, right? Shut down the app after 20 minutes. So hopefully I can use this to get my time back.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, all of us, there are so many emails, and it's hard to find the email that is the most important that you need to reply to, or filter out the noise from your inbox. So of course, all of us face this. We open our inbox, there's 50 unread emails. Half of them might need a reply, half of them don't. Out of those half that need a reply today, and the others can wait. And then obviously you're going in and replying to each. And then finally, the final problem we face is follow-ups fall through as well. You sent an email, but you lost track of it, et cetera, et cetera. And that's where Email Assistant comes in. Firefly's Email Assistant connects to Gmail or Outlook. It can connect to both. And first of all, it sorts your email and labels it automatically by urgency and intent. So it will tell you which emails are important, which ones are not, and then it will also tell you which emails require a task to be done, which emails require a reply, or can you take care of that email later. So it will auto-label your emails for you to organize your inbox so that you look at the emails that you need to reply to or the ones that are critical for you. Secondly, it can also auto-draft. Not only does it auto-draft, it auto-drafts in your voice so that it is learning from the emails and how you send emails, and it still sounds like you are the one sending the email. Of course, it won't send the email for you. It'll save the draft. You can review it. You can tweak it if needed, and then you can send it. Nothing goes out without your approval. And then it will also track every email that is waiting on a reply from after you've sent it. So when someone goes quiet or when there's a follow-up that's needed, it will draft a follow-up for you to send if someone has not replied as well. So 3 things. It will automatically organize your inbox. Secondly, it will auto-draft emails for you in your voice. And then finally, it will also automatically draft follow-ups for emails that you've not received a reply for. Now, quick note, Email Assistant is not live for everyone yet. If you're interested in this, we can obviously provide early access for the beta version. So drop your interest in the chat and we'll follow up with you to get you on early access to try it out. All right, we're gonna move to a live demo and Chan's gonna show us how this works.
Yes, let me share my screen. So like Nishant said, we haven't officially released it yet. It's almost like full hush-hush inside the Fireflies folks. All of us have been using it internally and we are getting amazing feedback. And we thought, why don't we just show it to our exclusive community here in the webinar? So introducing the Email Assistant, we are bringing support to both Gmail and Outlook for both users who are from those cohorts. So like Nishant said, it's supposed to do 3 things, plain and simple. Auto drafting, getting your follow-ups ready for the emails you haven't got any responses for, and the most important aspect is sorting your email so that your inbox is super clean. So it's super simple. I'm just going to show you how this works. So all of this is in beta mode. We will improve the UX and a lot of bells and whistles are yet to be applied, but I'm going to show you how the core stuff works here. So auto drafting, you can decide. So Fireflies, the moment you select auto draft, one thing that you need to note here is Fireflies does not send emails on your behalf. So the moment you get an email, Fireflies will have a draft generated for you right in the exact same email in your drafts so that you can just quickly review it and have it sent across. You can decide which emails that you want Fireflies to draft responses for, ranging from important emails only to all emails. So you have complete control. We also have advanced options where you have auto follow-up. So what's the difference between auto draft and auto follow-up? So let's say you get an email from another person. So Fireflies will auto draft a response for you. That's the main use case. But auto follow-ups are emails that you send, but you haven't received a response in, let's say, 1 day or a couple of days. And that's when Fireflies will auto draft a response as a follow-up in that thread. Hey, I have to check in what's happening, sort of a thing. So you can decide when would Fireflies draft that response. So it ranges from 1 day to 7 day, and you can have it updated right away after that. The best part is you have complete control over your writing style. You can decide what tone or language or style that Fireflies needs to draft the responses, and you can just click apply style and Fireflies drafts that in that specific format. Then we have email format. Email sorting. Just enable it and Fireflies automatically labels all your incoming emails neatly in these following categories: needs action, read only, conversational, alerts, scheduled, pending, done, and promotions. So that's pretty much it. So 3 simple settings and you are started with the email assistant. So I'm just going to show you how this looks like for my personal email here. So you can see that Fireflies has, so this is also same applicable to Gmail as well. So I already have, my Fireflies email assistant connected to my personal email for my Outlook. And Fireflies neatly color codes all these labels accordingly so that you can easily organize your emails from promotions, from what needs action. So you can see that I have an urgent mail here, and Fireflies has automatically drafted a message based on this. So that's pretty much it. So you get email sorting, auto drafting, and also drafting follow-ups for you, the mails that you send. So you can customize your writing style and summarizing it. We will be also adding more capabilities such as connecting your knowledge base. So Fireflies can draft more relevant responses for you. But yes, so we roll this to a very few select cohort of customers. If you are interested in the email assistant, feel free to let us know. We will be doing this as a broader launch real soon, but we'd love to get you to try it out and test out and share some feedback so that we can take it and have it improved right away after that. But yes, this is the email assistant for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Chan. That is super exciting. It looks like a lot of people are interested in that. Obviously, all of us have a ton of unread emails. All right, so wrapping up, we covered everything from voice agents, email assistant, Slack assistant. We'll take 2 minutes and hear Toby's take on seeing all 3 in action. Toby, you've used some of these yourself. You've used Fireflies for the longest time. What's your honest take? And if you were giving advice to other founders on, to start somewhere with automating or saving time, what would that be?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, one of the things that I'm noticing is because of the ease of building some of these AI tools, right? All of these AI tools are popping up. And so founders are falling into what I call AI analysis paralysis, right? There's every tool that can do every single thing that you can think of, right? What I love about using Fireflies and the fact that you all keep expanding your product offerings, your functionality, is that I've already built so much history in Fireflies, right? It knows my voice. It's been on every single sales call we've had for 6 years. And so for me to create an agent, for me to start using it in Slack, for me to start using it in my emails means I don't need to create a new account with a new provider, test 3 new providers for anything. I can actually just use it and continue to follow you all as you expand the functionality. So that's probably the first thing. The second thing is I don't think enough founders are really tapping into the knowledge base that they've built over the years, right? So like so much of what we do when we're especially training, whether it's for sales or we're building SOPs, is we use what is already in Fireflies. It's been on the calls, right? And so now to be able to link that directly into Slack, right, to serve our clients, to get a call recording and all the outputs right in Slack. And then I'm excited for this email thing because now it's going to save me time even on the emails. I know it knows my voice because it's listened to my voice for years and years. So that's probably my big thing is I understand that there are hundreds of tools, thousands of tools. You can even vibe code a tool yourself. But the good thing is Fireflies has context, especially if you've been using Fireflies, right? And if you haven't, you should. Like one of the first tools I recommend to every single founder I talk to, it's like you have to get something that's going to capture your voice and that's going to be on every call with you. And so it's one of my first recommendations. So that's probably what I would say.
Thank you, Toby. That means a lot coming from you. And we are super excited to bring, as you said, like more and more value to our users and our customers on the platform that they trust and they've been using for the longest time for their meetings. A tool that understands them, knows a lot of the context. In fact, for voice agents, something that's coming in the future is voice agents being trained on your own calls because your calls are already there. So can it take the sales call based on the sales call that you've been taking? So there's a lot of exciting stuff coming on the platform. We'd love everyone to try out email assistant, Slack assistant, and voice agents will obviously share all the information with you afterwards as well. So someone mentioned security, and we will cover that. Every time we build a new feature or how we've built the platform overall, from day one, we have been very focused on privacy and security. Specific to the Slack integration, John, it does not bypass any of the access checks that are already in place. If I am using the Slack assistant, I will not be able to access anything that I cannot access on Fireflies or anything that I cannot access on Slack. So we'll always follow the security and privacy approach of the least access that I have. So that's number one, and the same goes for all of our tools and all of our features that we have on the platform. We are, as you know, SOC 2 Type 2 compliant, GDPR compliant, HIPAA ready. We also achieved FERPA certification very recently on our enterprise plan for those in the education space. We offer private storage for those who are more concerned about where their data is stored. We have end-to-end encryption, and of course, a lot of admin controls and privacy controls within Fireflies itself. So Fireflies is, of course, the most preferred platform for CIOs across the Fortune 500. We will always continue to focus on security and privacy because we know how sensitive meeting data, email data, Slack data can be, and that will always be our focus. Awesome. We will move to the live Q&A. We are almost out of time, so we'll just do 5 minutes of live Q&A, and we'll pull up questions and answer them as we go. All right, so first question from Tanya. I own a medical practice. Can these answer phones after hours and take messages for scheduling, etc.? So this is regarding voice agents, or can it be integrated with my schedule to actually do some scheduling? Chan?
Yes, absolutely. So phone calls are one of the biggest feature requests that we've received for voice agents, something that we are looking into mainly from the legal aspect of it, respect to inbound and outbound. So apart from that, you can continue to use the voice agent as it is as a web model. You can integrate it with your calendar, whatever you use for scheduling. It's going to work perfectly. But voice agents for phone calls is coming real soon. We are doing the R&D on it, but that's next in our pipeline.
Awesome. Thanks, Chan. Joseph asks on the voice agent again. What's the effort to train the agent on the product or service or subject matter that the prospect or customer is looking to learn more about? So this is obviously regarding the knowledge base that the agent has access to, right?
Yes, absolutely. So it takes all you need to just plug in the knowledge base and you're pretty much sorted. Just add some basic instructions. We can always guide you on what are the best practices are. We have extensive documentation on that, but feel free to drop us a message. We'd be happy to guide you through on what the best practices are. But for the most part, just connect your knowledge base, connect your website, your product website, and your help desk articles, and give it the basic instructions to for whatever use case that you might be aiming for, and it should just go autopilot right after. It should not be a blocker.
Yeah. Again, you can put free text, you can put documents, you can put links, whatever you want to provide it with information, it will be able to parse that and get all the context that it needs. Awesome. How can it be automated so that customer calls using different languages on the voice agent? We have a ton of languages that we support, Chan, right?
Yes. So one thing that I had to show you in the demo is you can specify the voice agent language as an agent owner. Let's say you create an agent in English, but let's say that your target audience is across the globe. We have a tiny setting where before users talk to the agent, they can select the language that they want to talk. So even if you created the agent in English, let's say you want to talk to the agent as a user in Japanese, the agent will translate all your questions that you created as an agent owner in real time, even your knowledge base, and respond to the user and conduct a conversation in Japanese. So that is absolutely possible at the moment.
Yeah, so if you have a global audience, you can send the agent out. Just make sure to enable the setting that enables multiple languages within one call, and it will be able to tackle all the different languages. This is regarding Slack Assistant from Natalia. I have multiple Slack workspaces. Can Fireflies connect to them all?
Okay, so at the moment, one Fireflies account can just connect to one Slack workspace. So we are not currently looking into connecting to multiple Slack workspaces. So at the moment, it's currently limited to just one Slack workspace per Fireflies account.
Awesome. This is regarding the email assistant. Will it look at HubSpot and cross-reference mail from priority HubSpot contacts?
Sure. So right now, the priority for the email assistant is just your inbox. So that's only permission that we would get. So as the information that comes into your email and inbox is something that we use to analyze if it's prioritized or not. We don't, cross-reference it with HubSpot. So but that's a good use case. So we're also building the MCP connector. So Fireflies eventually will be talking to all these tools in coherence. So when that aspect takes shape, I think we can look into this. But right now, it's just your email.
Yeah, you're all asking great questions, and a lot of this is on the roadmap. Eventually, the vision of Fireflies is it will be able to communicate all of these across all of these different tools, and it's not very far away. We have a lot of exciting stuff coming up this year itself. So please keep an eye out for all of those things. Next question, Chan, is for the email assistant. Leanne says, I get emails in many languages. Will it draft responses in the same language that the sender drafted the email?
Absolutely, yes. So right now, even if you take a look at my email, I have messages in both English and Japanese. So Fireflies works in a way where it automatically understands the language that the sender sends it and automatically drafts responses in that language. That is currently supported even from the basic version.
What will be the cost of the email assistant? Jocelyn is asking.
Yes. So at the moment, we really haven't decided on the pricing. So it's for all our early users, it's totally free to test it out. We will narrow down on pricing in the upcoming weeks. It's going to be AI credits based, but we are looking to see what would be the best way to go forward about pricing, what is something that we could give as part of the plans and stuff like that. But right now, it's haven't yet been decided yet. So it's totally free if you want to try it out.
Awesome. I think that is all the time we have today, folks. I know there are a ton of questions, and we'll try to answer as many of them in our follow-up emails to you as possible. But thank you so much for taking out the time today and joining the Fireflies team and joining Toby, our special guest, on this webinar. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for taking out the time.
See you all.